Hannah, I just handed in the divorce papers.
Great.
I take it you know where we both stand on custody of the kids. The twins, Ben and Ivy. You get Ivy, and I get Ben.
To tell you the truth, I still don't agree with it.
What good is complaining after all this time? It's already decided, and there's no going back.
I know that. But I can't just look the other way when you call our daughter such horrible things. A brainless good-for-nothing? Really?
It's the truth. What do you want me to do, lie? I have to take Ben because my dad's company is in urgent need of a successor. But Ivy? Yeah, that's not happening. It'd be one thing if she was smart and gifted like Ben, but it seems like she didn't inherit my amazing elite genes like he did. Her grades are average at best. Her face is ordinary. She's not even good at sports. She has no redeeming qualities. She's literally the most average kid I'd ever met. Why would I want her? In any case, the only life that could possibly await a girl like that is marrying into the family of some run-of-the-mill office worker. There's no way she's got what it takes to inherit my dad's company. What benefit is there in having her around eating my food? As long as I get Ben, I'm happy.
Ugh, good grief. It goes without saying that you better not ever say any of those things to her face. But don't go spewing your poison in front of Ben either. They're twins. They think a lot of each other. They're well past the age of not being able to understand things adults say, so you need to be careful. I'll be furious if I hear you've been filling Ben's head with horrible things about his sister.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, it's not like me and you are ever gonna meet again after this, is it?
I'm serious. Please, don't. Take good care of Ben, won't you?
Of course I will. I don't need you to tell me. He's gonna get an elite education and make tons of money, you'll see. Benny boy's going places.
It's not that I don't understand you wanting those things for him. But please make sure you let him do the stuff he wants to do sometimes too, okay?
Yeah, whatever. I guess this is it then.
Yeah. Bye.
Hey, Mom, is now a good time?
Hey, Ivy. Sure, what's up?
So I'm heading to the station near college right now. You'll never believe this, but my old dad is waiting by the ticket gate.
What? What do you mean?
My friend who went home before me sent me a message. Apparently he's going around the station asking every single young girl he sees, "Are you Ivy?" To anyone else, he probably just looks like a sex offender.
What the?
I carefully continued to the station to see whether it was actually him. And sure enough, of course he looks a little older than I remember him, but it's him.
What the heck is that man playing at?
Right? After all this time! He was dead set on only taking Ben back then, too. He had no interest in me whatsoever. I remembered like it was yesterday, how he smugly declared, "I'm fine as long as I have Ben," while reclining on the sofa and chuckling to himself like a jackass.
Oh, me too, sweetie.
Anyway, I need to come home, so I'm gonna enter the station through the ticket gate on the opposite side of the station, the one by the tracks. I'll probably be 1 or 2 trains later than usual.
Okay, got it. Make sure he doesn't see you. Be careful, Ivy.
Hello, Hannah. It's been a while. It's me, Gary. We need to talk.
We do?
Yes, we do. So it's like this, see? About a week ago.
You were lurking around the station like some creep trying to find Ivy?
Huh? You know?
I know. You were running around approaching every girl who looked like they might be under 25 asking if they were Ivy, weren't you? One of the girls you approached was Ivy's friend. Thankfully, she messaged her immediately with a warning to avoid the area.
Oh, I see. So does that mean she went home a different way so I wouldn't find her?
That's right.
How could she? I went out of my way to try to find her! We could have finally been reunited! I'm her father, damn it!
This makes no sense. Did you forget everything that happened back then?
Huh?
The reason we divorced in the first place is because Ben was the only child who existed in yours and your dad's eyes. On the rare occasion you actually acknowledged mine and Ivy's existences, you treated us like dirt. Your face practically lit up when I suggested divorce, and you had the papers signed and handed in before the day was up. You had no interest in having any part in Ivy's life, and you certainly weren't going to fight for custody of her. In spite of that, I suddenly hear you're running around the station, approaching every teenage girl you see like some kind of a sex pest in order to try and track down your estranged daughter? I'm struggling to understand here. Can you help me out a little?
What choice did I have? I don't know where you guys live anymore. All I had was some vague information on which college he's at. And so that was my only option.
That's not what I'm asking. Not that that's not a problem, too. But if you wanted to meet Ivy, you should have come to me first. I'm her mother and legal guardian. We intentionally kept hold of each other's numbers for this exact reason, did we not? Stop taking liberties!
Do you really want me to go into all the boring details? I don't have time for that. The point is, Ivy's doing really well now, isn't she? Looks like you did a half-decent job raising her after all. I heard she always gets the top grades in school, and was even president of the student council. Is it true? What's more, she even got into Apple College! Everyone knows how brutal their entrance exams are, so she must have something in between those ears of hers after all.
What's your point?
The point is that it turns out she did inherit my amazing elite genes after all, and this just proves it! That's my girl! Which means I'll be taking custody of her. Thanks to your hard work, you did a great job, really! You can leave the rest to me.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? Ivy must have gotten into college on a scholarship fund, right? And she has to be working crazy hours at some part-time job.
Scholarship fund? Part-time job?
You can't play dumb with me, Hannah, because I'm smart. Very, very smart. We agreed neither of us would pay child support at the time of the divorce since we were both taking a kid each. But unlike me, who was always working, and in a pretty good company at that, you were a stay-at-home housewife until the divorce. Even if you did manage to find a job after the split, your salary would have likely been average at best, realistically speaking. Now thinking about it logically, the only way Ivy could afford to go to Apple College despite being raised by a poverty-stricken single mother like you is through some kind of scholarship fund or job. Am I right? Or am I right?
What happened to all that stuff you said about Ben?
Huh?
You used to always say you'd be happy as long as you had Ben. What happened to that?
That kid. He was a complete disappointment.
What?
He betrayed my expectations in the most pathetic, cowardly way. He ran away as soon as he graduated high school, in the middle of the night, no less. Pfft. I have no idea where he is now.
Are you even gonna bother looking for him?
I was so disappointed I didn't feel like wasting my time trying. I decided to wait for him to come back and apologize before considering forgiveness. Not gonna lie, that hurt. I was pretty dejected. But, right around the same time, I got word of what a high achiever Ivy was turning out to be. I thought it could only be fate. Which is why I'm doing whatever I can to find her as quickly as I can. With me raising her, she won't have to waste her time working some crummy job or relying on scholarship money to study. I'm exactly what she needs right now. Oh yeah, my dad changed his mind. He's ready to let her be the successor to his company now.
Gary, do you even know which faculty at Apple College Ivy is studying at?
Huh?
The legal faculty.
What? Wasn't she majoring in economics?
She decided she wanted to be a lawyer and went to college to study law instead.
A lawyer? No, she will not be a lawyer. Starting next year, we'll transfer her to the Faculty of Economics. Contact the college and have them initiate the procedures now!
Why?
Because she has to inherit my dad's company! She can't do that if she's a frickin' lawyer! She has to learn economics! There's no other option!
Oh, So that's why.
Huh?
You were trying to force that on Ben, too, weren't you?
Forcing? A father's authority is final! He has no right to disobey my command, and learning economics is an essential requirement of inheriting my dad's company. You should be careful how you speak to me.
Do you have any interest in what Ben himself wants to do with his life? Do you even know what that is?
Huh?
Your son wants to be a chef.
A chef?
You do know how much he loves cooking, don't you?
Oh yeah, I remember catching him wearing that stupid hat a while back. That stuff's for pansies! I told him how shameful his stupid effeminate behavior was and banned him from embarrassing me by ever doing it again.
I know. That's why he ran away in the night.
Huh?
Ever since he graduated high school, he's been working part-time to save up money to go to a specialist culinary arts college. He's set to start studying there next April.
He is? Hey, wait a second. How do you know all this? You weren't supposed to meet him after the divorce! We agreed!
I know, we didn't meet. At least not while you had legal custody of him.
Huh? What are you trying to say?
Don't tell me you forgot. Ben and Ivy both turned 20 the year before last.
Huh? So what?
They're fully fledged adults now, so the custody terms we agreed on during the divorce no longer apply. Ben doesn't need your permission to come and see me anymore.
Oh, he doesn't, huh?
Which is why he came to see me, just yesterday in fact.
Wait a sec! How did he know where you live?
He and Ivy have had the same friends since back in elementary school, so he's always known my address.
How dare you! You've all been conspiring behind my back this whole time!
Ben told me all sorts of things. For example, how you temporarily became president of your dad's company. But were too much of an incompetent moron to run it properly, and your aged dad was forced to take the reins again before he ended up in the red or going bankrupt. By some miracle, you're still hanging on to the managerial position by a thread, but your dad swore you'd never be president again. Then, to make matters worse, Ben, who'd he'd been grooming to be his successor, decided he wanted to be a chef instead and pulled the disappearing act. The only reason you're trying to track down Ivy now is because you're out of candidates to inherit the company, isn't it?
If you're such an expert on the situation, why don't you just hand her over already? You know damn well it's in Ivy's best interest to be a household with money so she can focus on her studies. You're just being stubborn and selfish.
There's just one problem. Ivy never wants to see you again.
What?
I did just tell you. But she went out of her way to avoid you as soon as she heard you were out looking for her at the station. You can think of that as her response to your proposal.
Do you understand what a generous offer this is? I'm offering to cover all of her expenses until she graduates college. Not only that, but there's a CEO position waiting for her when she does. With me, she walks the path of the elite. With you, it's nothing but poverty, poverty, poverty! The opportunity to live a life free from financial worry is staring her right in the face! She'll never struggle for money again!
Gary, Ivy isn't studying on a scholarship.
Huh?
She doesn't have any money worries at all.
Don't make me laugh! There's no way a peasant like you could afford to cover her tuition fees at Apple College. What did you do? Rob a bank? You're obviously just making up desperate lies because you're scared of losing her when she realizes how much better her life will be with me. I've got it. Fine, I don't mind if we get back together.
Excuse me?
If we do that, you can guarantee Ivy a better life without having to say goodbye. Win-win!
No, really. We're doing fine for money.
You're clearly putting up a bold front. Tragic. I know that deep down you're chomping at the bit to go ahead with what I'm proposing. You're just too proud to admit it. One thing though, when I say me and you can get back together, you should know what I mean is, I'll let you be my personal maidservant. Ever since my mom died, we've been forced to hire a maid, which means the finances have taken quite a hit. We could do with some free labor. This is actually perfect timing!
I married a lawyer.
What?
We were introduced through a friend when Ivy was in her second year of high school. Ivy calls him Dad now.
She does what now? How dare she, that traitor!
It's thanks to his influence that she decided she wants to be a lawyer.
Even so, I'm her dad and always will be!
Actually, the adoption procedures were recently finalized, so legally speaking, he's her dad now.
What? You let him do that?
As you probably know, a lawyer's salary isn't half bad, and he's been kind enough to cover half of her college expenses, so you really don't need to worry about us struggling.
Half?
He did offer to pay the full amount, but I worked so hard to save up money to send her to college before we got married. Plus, Ivy herself has been working long hours too. So to make sure we'd never forget what we went through, we have a constant reminder of the importance of hard work. We paid the other half ourselves.
I don't understand. Why wouldn't you accept?
It makes no difference whether you understand or not, so that's fine. Oh yeah, that reminds me. We're currently in talks to start the adoption process for Ben, too. I'll be sure to keep you posted.
What? What about me? Who's gonna inherit my dad's company?
Why does it have to be a family member? Why can't you pick a successor based on their abilities and talents? Sounds like you could use some fresh blood. Meh, that's not really for me to comment on.
Aha! I've got it! I'll let you have Ben. If you give me Ivy, can we do a trade?
You still don't get it, do you? Ugh, this is a waste of time.
Huh?
Ben and Ivy are both adults now, and they're free to make their own choices. I think it's time we block you.
No, wait! Please! Just wait!
Goodbye. I heard through a friend a few days later. Apparently, Gary's dad told him that if he didn't come home with either Ben or Ivy to inherit the company, he'd lose his managerial position and be demoted to a regular employee. After I blocked him, he went on the offensive with Ivy. Once again, he was sighted approaching young girls at the station, but this time around, he was swiftly reported to the police and arrested. My husband, the lawyer, decided it was time to take action. He had a restraining order put out against Gary, banning him from ever coming near any of us again. A year later, Gary's dad's company went bankrupt. Apparently, word of one of the managers being arrested for harassing young women in public played a part in the stock price hitting an all-time low and the company's subsequent collapse. Both Gary and his dad worked like dogs to pay off the debt they took on in a desperate last-ditch attempt to save the sinking ship. They did manage to keep up with the repayments somehow or another, but due to the fact that neither of them knew how to do housework, their apartment turned into something resembling a bomb site stinking of rotten meat within a month of them moving in. Naturally, reports from the neighbors came in one after the other. Now, no one has any idea where they disappeared to after being handed the eviction notice.
Mindy, can you come pick up this old hag? We're newlyweds. You should be the one taking care of her.
Laura, it's been a while. By old hag, are you referring to our mother?
Of course I'm talking about your mother. Take this shabby-looking, stinky old hag to your house.
Stop making rude remarks. She's my mother.
I don't care. It's true, isn't it? She's a poor old hag. If you don't come pick her up, I'll kick her out.
Laura, my mother wanted to live with my brother, not me. My brother wanted that too. And yet, to say such things is so rude to all of us. My mother is nowhere near poor or shabby looking.
You just don't want to think that because she's your mother, and you owe her for raising you guys as a single parent. But to someone like me who grew up in a wealthy family, she just seems poor. I feel sorry for you, but that is the truth.
If you feel sorry for me, then why not just stop being rude? Your words make me sad, you know. What is it about my mother that you don't like so much?
She's a terrible cook.
What?
Her dishes are nothing but unappetizing. She's such a bad cook. And her clothes look like they were bought at a thrift shop. I can't believe she has such bad taste in fashion.
My mother is cooking? Really?
course she'd be cooking for us. We're letting her live with us, so she should at least do some chores.
That's my mother's line.
I know you guys were raised by a single parent and don't have any money, but it's wrong for you to force your baggage on us. Jessie works for a nice company. Without this baggage, we could live a wealthy life.
If you have time to talk ill of our mother behind her back, why don't you just go face my brother?
What do you mean by that? Jessie and I are doing just fine.
I suggest you have a talk with him, but if you say that's unnecessary, it's your choice. Anyway, my mother is my important family. I won't tolerate you bad-mouthing her. If you really want to get rid of her, discuss it directly with my brother. Or is there any reason you can't do that?
It makes Jessie happy to see me being nice to his mother. And he buys me gifts at Saks Fifth to thank me. But if he figures out I dislike his mother, it will be troublesome. That's why I need you guys to take care of this issue. Okay?
I see. This is all for your own personal benefits. But unfortunately, I cannot solve your problem on my own. If you really want my mother to move out, you'll have to talk to my brother. But I would advise you to talk it over with my mother as well. She's probably not the kind of person you think she is.
Why are you trying to make a big fuss about it? Just take your mother to your house and it'll all be solved. You'll later regret it if you don't help me out now.
You're the one who would regret it if you don't listen to my advice. Bye then.
The storm was pretty bad today. By the way, something funny happened. Do you want to hear about it?
Something funny? Well, I have an idea what you're talking about.
I kicked out the poor old hag on this stormy day. Now, the house is all ours. You should have listened to me when I told you to pick her up. I wonder how she's doing right now.
You really are the worst. That house was my mother's family house. How dare you kick her out and take over that place?
I'm just giving you back your mother, who has no money. You and your mother can live a happy, poor life together.
You're being selfish. What do you think my brother will think when he finds out about this?
Make sure you tell Jessie this is not my fault. Your mother left on her own. You don't want to destroy our marriage, do you? Then team up with me and get our story straight.
Huh?
Your mother is unneeded in our house since she has no money. So, in order to take over this house, I kicked her out during the storm.
My mother is with us right now at her second house.
Second house?
You're an idiot.
Huh? I never heard she had a second house.
We're all gathering at this huge second house, which has an inside pool, gym, and also a theater room. There's even a lake so we can enjoy fishing when the weather's nice. I think my brother is coming later.
You must have gone crazy. Are you talking about a dream or something?
Oh, right. You didn't know my mother was a super wealthy woman with lots of assets. We've lived a richer life than you can ever imagine.
Wealthy with lots of assets? I don't understand what you're saying.
That's right. I'm so sorry. It must be difficult for normal people to understand. Not that I care if you don't understand.
Hey, explain it to me so I can understand. What's going on?
My mother only lived in that house to spend time with my brother and his wife. But since you kicked her out, she invited me and my husband to come live with her in her second house. You guys never told me you had other homes. We intentionally didn't tell you about it. My brother thought it'd be better to pretend we were normal, so that you won't cringe at the difference in our standard of living. My mother loves my brother, so she respected his opinion and tried her best to be normal. Dreaming of a happy, normal life with him and you, she tried getting along with you, but she gave up. Your personality was so awful that she decided it was impossible. Also, she has become tired of adjusting things to your level. My level? My mom could have dressed in high-brand clothes and taken out food from super fancy restaurants. But she didn't, because she was pretending to be normal, just like you. As soon as she was kicked out, I picked her up and took her to our second house. Now we're partying with family and friends, enjoying delicious food and wine, so don't bother us. I don't think my mother will ever live with you again, so no worries about that.
Are you saying that for real? Your mother has a luxurious second house and is having a party? I can't believe it. She was wearing clothes that looked like they were bought at a thrift shop.
That was just another effort to adjust her living standards to yours. You should have thanked her.
That means your mother pretended to be poor when she's really rich.
I don't think she was pretending to be poor. She was just pretending to live in your standard of living.
Are you trying to say I'm poor?
I wouldn't say such rude things, but compared to my mother's living standards, that can't be denied. Anyway, you have no eyes to see other people who they really are, nor the heart to appreciate and respect your mother-in-law.
No, wait. If she's rich, it's a different story. I didn't know she was that wealthy. I thought she was just a poor old hag, just making us pay extra living expenses.
You are so rude. It doesn't matter if you're poor or rich. We became family by fate, and she wanted to get along with you, but all you did was talk down to her.
I didn't mean to sound like that, but
there's no point in arguing with someone like you. My mother has realized that too, so there is no need for you to live with her anymore. So please get out of that house.
Why do I need to get out of the house? This is our house.
You know you don't have any rights to the house, right? My mother is going to tell my brother as soon as he arrives, but that house was purchased by my mother, which means she is the one who owns it.
Really?
I'm surprised you didn't even know that. I don't know if my mother kept it from you or if you're just too insensitive, but the truth is that my mother let you guys live there as a wedding gift.
I didn't know that. I thought Jesse bought this house.
My brother is a sole proprietor right now, so it's impossible for him to get such a big loan. But since you became my mother's enemy, I'm sure she'll make sure you don't get anything from her.
Even the house?
She says she won't lend him money as long as he's with you.
Lend money?
My brother just started a private business. It used to be a side business, but he's slowly turning it into a full-fledged business. So his job at the old company has become his side business.
I had no idea. So he doesn't work for that company anymore?
You know nothing about this, do you? Or maybe you just ignored what he told you, not being able to understand what he said.
What happens when your mother stops lending him money?
His private business won't be able to continue. It will fail. My mother has done so much for my brother, and he was this close to success, but it's all ruined because of you.
Mindy, I'm sorry for making you feel unhappy because of my misunderstanding. But now I understand it all. Let's reconcile.
Reconcile?
Will you tell your mother to come back to our house? I can go pick her up at the second house. Is it better for me to stay the night there with you guys? I can join the party too, right?
You must be kidding.
Why?
It's too late now. My mother has already decided to cut ties with you. I've been telling you several times, but she won't live with you anymore. Maybe you'll never see her again.
Wait a minute. So you really meant it when you told me to get out of this house? I have nowhere else to go. Plus, it would affect Jesse's work too.
It's none of our business. You brought this on yourself, didn't you? To put it bluntly, you turned my mother against you by your own actions. I gave you advice to discuss things with my brother and mother, didn't I? You should have listened to me.
Then you should have told me all about it in the first place.
Tell you what?
That your mother had money. Then I wouldn't have kicked her out.
To change your attitude based on their money is what the worst kind of people do. It's only natural for a person like you to be cut off by my mother, don't you think?
Mindy, this is bad. Jesse's been calling me like crazy. I think he found out what happened.
Yes, my brother just arrived. My mother told him everything that she has been holding back until now.
No way. Oh no.
That's right. You're finished. Just talk to my brother. In the end, Jesse found out about everything, and Laura was confronted with divorce. He decided to sell the house and told her to get out. She cried in despair. She apologized desperately to her mother-in-law and begged for forgiveness, but the entire family ignored Laura. Laura was kicked out of her house and abandoned by her own parents. If only she had been kinder to others, she would have been able to live a wealthy life for the rest of her life. While working from morning till night at a factory, she reflects on her own attitude every day. It sounds tough, but she deserved it, so it can't be helped.